Hi, this is John Rowell for the Rowell Report. Today is Friday, December 5th, 2025, and President Trump is looking into how the United States can maintain its empire, how it can maintain its hegemonic control over most of the planet and most of the countries, and especially how its allies behave, and who has the right to be an ally, and what are their obligations. So President Trump put out this document about the 33-page national security strategy, and he outlined his vision for how the U.S. can maintain its control and maintain its planetary police work, and how it can maintain people allies with the same vision and the same idea as the United States. Well, the one thing he sees as an enemy is the possibility of a civilizational erasure in Europe, and he thinks that could happen through mass migration, through the low birth rate. So basically, the people living in those countries don't have a very low birth rate, and the immigrants who arrive to the country have a much higher birth rate. So, according to this vision, that not only puts their civilization at risk, it also puts their status as ally at risk. So, President Trump wants countries that are all in, that are with him and not against him, so to speak. So the only way they can show that is by showing that they're going to ensure their civilization is not destroyed by these immigrants and by the mass migration and by the low birth rate of their citizens. And so this is kind of a odd way to see civilizational erasure, because people who go from different countries and go to France, generally they pick up on the French culture and they maintain it, and they once they're there for X amount of years, they are been incorporated into the French culture. The people that go from Germany, the people that live in Germany, they begin to recycle and to be conscious of the ecology, and they begin to be very punctual, right on the money, and so people who go to those countries tend to be incorporated into those cultures. So exactly where President Trump is seeing the danger, it's really hard to say. But basically, he's saying that mass migration is an enemy not only to these countries' culture, but also to their status as ally. And we're starting to see some odd things happening in the U.S., like the questioning of birthright citizenship, also the eliminating the possibility of dual citizenship. So we're starting to see this, starting to see these countries, whether the United States or Europe, starting to put up, fences to mass migration, that they need to increase their birth rate, and they need to strengthen their quote-unquote culture. So all this seems to be kind of racist to me, and there is a tendency within the MAGA movement to be very racist, to see every immigrant as some kind of an enemy, as someone to make fun of, or to discriminate against. And so I don't think that this is a positive thing that President Trump is doing for the country or for the U.S. allies. But certainly, he's been kind of heading in this direction for a while. So here's another comment here from this BBC article. The new report doubles down on Trump's point of view, calling for the restoration of Western identity. What is that? Combating foreign influence. Okay, basically China, Russia, who else? Make the list. Ending mass migration. So basically, this is anti-immigrant. Focusing more on U.S. priorities such as stopping fictitious drug cartels like the Cartel de los Soles. So, using the fictitious drug cartel as a springboard to regime change in Venezuela, or go down the line, Colombia, whoever. Whoever Trump wants the regime change, suddenly they are drug kingpins, and they are dangerous because they're sending their citizens into our borders, and creating a national identity crisis. So all this is kind of ridiculous. But anyway, the U.S. wants to maintain a global dominance, and it's starting to see the rise of China, and so the U.S. wants to use these documents and these policies as a vehicle towards reaffirming its global dominance and global control. So I guess this, for me, signifies that in the next 3 years of President Donald Trump's presidency, we will see much more conflict. We will see a much stronger anti-immigrant atmosphere in the United States, and President Trump also wants the European allies to be anti-immigrant. So basically, he wants them to start pushing the immigrants out of their country, maybe looking for any way to justify that, because if not, their whole culture is going to sink and fall apart. So certainly not very logical from my point of view. But anyway, I thought I'd bring this to your attention. So this is unfortunately quite racist, and I think it should be rejected by the European countries as for what it is. But also, if you're Europe and you're hearing that, it's your responsibility to try to maintain the U.S. global hegemony, the U.S. empire, I'd be saying to myself, why are we spending our resources trying to maintain the U.S. global empire? Why doesn't the U.S. Spend itself into non-existence if it wants to maintain this global empire? Because that's exactly what's going to happen. U.S. cannot keep up with China. It's not able to compete. It basically deindustrialized. It's a country now of billionaires and oligarchs and a whole bunch of people who are struggling from day to day, and a smaller and smaller middle class. So the United States economy is going from bad to worse, and President Trump is not improving that. If he wanted to maintain and improve the U.S. dominance, he would take away all the tariffs. He would encourage trade. That would build up the United States. It would he could encourage the reindustrialization of this country. So he's not doing that. He's just complaining about those who have had better action plans for their country than the United States, and this is quite unfortunate. So anyway, this is, it's taking racism and it's creating it as kind of and converting it into a kind of a public policy. And if you don't care about these racist policies, then you are going to be putting your culture and your country and your society in danger. And I don't agree with that. So I think that there are better ways to make one's country better, and to reaffirm the U.S. global dominance. It could, many things could be done, but we're going in the opposite direction as fast as we can, and down the road is a big, big wall, and we'll run right into it. And when we do, we realize that we've gone in the wrong direction, and we're so far behind China and soon to be India and other countries that it'll be hard for us to catch up. So anyway, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please hit the like button, share, and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you back for another one in the future. Have a good day. Bye-bye.